What's up guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to cover the best overall mortar cannon build that utilizes cluster grenade to absolutely decimate all content in the game with just one button. With some investment, I have over doubled my damage and gained a ton of survivability with around 2k health regen now. In this guide, I will cover all of the changes that have been made to the build. And yes, obviously this is a min-max version, so the cost went up. I want to say currently I'm at around between 70 and 80 divines in total cost, give or take. But if you wanted to make this build on a budget, there will be a link in the description, so you could start off with the budget version and then work into this if you wanted to. There will be more gameplay at the end of the video if you want to check that out. Also, if you have any questions or I forgot to cover something in the video, hit me up in the comments below and I'll get back to you. I will say overall this build has been a lot of fun, and if you enjoy the one button playstyle, pretty much immortal and just walking through everything, then this is definitely the build for you. Anyways, let's get right into it. Starting off in the skills that we're using, up top we have crossbow shot. Don't worry about that like before. We just have these gems because of a passive on the tree that we need them for. Right here in the ancestral spirits, same thing, culling, meat shield 2, minion mastery, infernal, fire exposure, encased in jade with prolonged duration and physical mastery. And then right here for mortar cannon, now here's one of the changes. We actually got a 21 mortar cannon, which this is bumping our cost up to 294 life to cast, and because of Atuli's right here, we get more damage per 10 life cost, actually 2% of damage as extra physical, so this is like boosting our damage a lot. So we want to get that life cost of mortar cannon up quite a bit. There's another way that we got it up that we'll also cover in the passive tree, but right here that's one of the changes. And then also we got a 21 cluster grenade, and that level bumped us up some more damage as well. Overall right now we have literally like over doubled our DPS. You look right here with the buffs up, we're doing 86 310 for the primary grenade, and the minis are doing 46 755. The minis are doing more than the primary was doing before now. So yeah, the primary before was between like, I want to say 35 and 40k. We've literally over doubled our damage. So also we still have time of need. I did bump that up one more level to level 19. We still got the compressed duration, vitality, and precision in there. And then on the actual mortar cannon, we have obviously cluster grenade, short fuse 1, payload, Rigwald's veracity, and Atuli's right here. Now, as for the changes on the gear, we did go with the new crossbow right here. This is actually like for the 1.65 attacks per second with no enhancement to the actual attack speed. This is the highest DPS weapon that we can get for this build. Right here with the maximum number of summoned ballistas. As you see right here, we have flaring and merciless. Those are the both tier 1 with the damage. And then also obviously we have the +6 levels of all attacks. Now I paid 40 divines for this. You can still get a high damage one that is maybe a little bit less damage for way cheaper, but I wanted to get the best one that I could find on the market. And the reason that we don't worry about attack speed on here, now if we had attack speed on here, the physical DPS would show higher on the market, right? But when it comes to the cluster grenades, they have a detonation time. The fuse takes 2 seconds to go off, so attack speed doesn't really matter. It's not going to add more damage to this build. Attack speed doesn't help your grenades blow up any quicker. So when it comes to that, you don't really want to look for one that has high DPS because of attack speed. I would actually punch in, when you go to the search, punch in 1.65 attacks per second, because that's the base for the siege crossbow, and then go with the highest DPS you can find in bows with that attack speed. Overall for this build, that's going to be the most damage that you can put out. The second change right here in the gear is we got the constricting command helmet. Basically right there you see require 5 fewer enemies to be surrounded, and there's some node clusters in the passive tree that we'll go over, give us a ton of damage and survivability when we're considered surrounded. So in order to be considered surrounded, you need 5 enemies around you, and with this helmet we're always considered surrounded. So now I want to say that I paid around 5 divines for this. The price does fluctuate a little bit on it. Also, I saw for around 7 divines you can get one that's corrupted, and it's got health regeneration, which I probably will go into, but this definitely boosted our damage up as well. And then when it comes to the other gear, it's the same stuff. Try to get the +3 right here on your amulet, get damage, survivability right here, resistances. Same with the armor. You want to go with the ornate plate for the regenerate life per second, and then try to get the percent of armor applies to elemental damage everywhere that you can, like we have here on the gloves, the boots. I did upgrade my boots a little bit. I went to 35% movement speed. These are pretty decent, and I got some life regen on them. Same with the belt. Try to get regen anywhere that you possibly can. Here's the life flask. Here's the charms we're using. You don't want to be frozen. Right here, you don't want to be affected by slows, and this one grants onslaught. And then right here, you want to go with this charm for when you're stunned. And then you defend with 200% of armor during the effect, which is nice. We are level 96 now, on our way to 97, as you can see right here. Now, I will show you, right here, you see that our life regen is 556 when we're just standing still. Now, I'll show you in the passive tree, but when we start casting, you'll see when I cast super fast right there, the life recovery per second will actually go up to, I think, around 2100, life per second. And that's a good chunk of our life, considering we only have around 3k life to begin with. So you see right there, as long as we're going through the map and we're constantly casting, I want to say we sit pretty comfortably around like 1500 to 1600 life regen while mapping. So, it just feels a lot more comfortable overall. And then our stats are the same as before. We're maxed out on our resistances, almost maxed on the chaos res. Here's the other stuff if you want to check that out. All right, now we'll go ahead and jump into the passive tree. When it comes to the Ascendancy, just, the same thing right here. Answered call for the extra totem. Up here, survivability, more survivability. And then, damage right here, we're breaking armor. Now, there have been a few changes in the tree. One of the big ones is over here. We actually got Undying Hate, Timeless Jewel. I want to say I paid 8 divines for this. And when it comes to your Undying Hate Jewel, you want to get the one that gives the tribute to Tech Rod. What that's going to do is it's going to change this right here into regenerate 1 life per second per 8 life spent in the past 8 seconds and 50% more life cost of skills, which works out great. Bumps up our Mortar Cannon to 294. And then if you remember, right here with the Tulis, we get 2% of damage as extra physical damage per 10 life cost. And then also, you see right there, regenerate 1 life per second per 8 life spent in the past 8 seconds. That's why the more that we're casting, which with this build, we're constantly casting out the totems. We're just, boosting our regeneration up higher and higher. So not only does this jewel get us more damage, it also gets us more survivability. Now, we definitely want to put this jewel over here because as you see, all of the small ones in range, it changes them to tribute. And we're not worried about that. We just want to get this benefit. So putting this off over here out to the side. So it's not affecting any of our other stuff over here. But yeah, that was the first change. The next change is we also picked up a Heart of the Well jewel. This one I paid about 10 divines for. Basically right there you see we're gaining damage as extra fire and chaos. Now you can get up to 15% of 2 like extra fire and cold, or like fire and lightning. And there is other modifiers you can get on there. This one right here I got because it fit the budget at the time. For the extra thing right there, I have 3% of damage taken from mana before life. We don't use mana for anything because we're always using life to cast our skill, and we're a 1-button build. So that along with the 1% to maximum fire resistance. So I got damage and survivability out of this jewel. Now around here, the tree has pretty much stayed the same. We are going to run down. You obviously want to get watchtowers right here for more damage and survivability. Now down here, here's one of the other changes. We got this time loss jewel. As you can see right here, small passives and radius get 3% and 2% damage. We get it to totem damage and attack damage, but our totems benefit from both of those. And then also right there, 21% increased effect of notable passive skills and radius. Now, as you can see right here, we get 5% damage out of these nodes. We get 5% damage out of all of these nodes. We get 21% more out of this node right here. And instead of 15%, we're getting 18%, which is awesome. And we're also getting more armor. You can see right there, 25% went to 30%. Now over here also, we're getting a ton of damage. Instead of 25% right here, we're getting 30. And then right here, we're getting 121% instead of 100%. And then also right here, we get more dodge roll distance, more movement speed. We get 12% instead of 10. So this jewel overall, I want to say I paid like a divine for this jewel. I don't know what they're going for now, but this increased our damage quite a bit as well. Now we did move some nodes around also up here, like we had talked about the constricting command helmet, 5 fewer enemies to be surrounded. So we're always considered surrounded. The reason that we got this helmet, this cluster right here and this cluster right here give us a ton of damage and survivability. Overall, when we're surrounded, right here, we're always considered surrounded. So we're getting the benefits of all of this. There's a ton of damage right here, 175%. But then with the boost, we're getting more than that because of the jewel over here. Also, that makes it to where we can take this and this right here for more damage while surrounded. Up here, obviously, you want to get this and you want to get this for the extra totem. We took this because we have some evasion. We wanted to convert over to armor. We also still have this down here, Gem Enthusiast. We get 5% maximum life and movement speed because of having 10 red and 10 green supports. Now also, obviously, we ran up here. We got more, life regen per second. and then more attack damage. We're actually missing 25% more damage right here, which once I hit level 97, that's going to be what I go into. Obviously, this is the more expensive version of the build. Also, there's going to be a build video for the budget version similar to this one down in the description if you want to check that out. But yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything. Oh yeah, we're allocating this still. We want the reduced grenade detonation time, and then down here we also get the detonation time. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below and I will get back to you. There's going to be more gameplay right now if you want to check that out. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this new league. I know that I am, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. Anyways, thanks for watching.
Your corpse will feed the new tomorrow. You don't stand a chance. So long as divinity disgraces the world, no one is safe. You stand in the way of hope. We build, you destroy. My flesh is unimportant.